Let's add a custom advanced item to Minecraft. 121 Minecraft modding course is available down below, with over 11 hours of content covering everything from the basics all the way to block entities and custom mobs. Alright, we found ourselves back in Intelligence War, and in this tutorial, we're going to be adding a custom advanced item to Minecraft. Now, an advanced item, or what I refer to as an advanced item, is an item with its own custom class, because previously what we've seen in the mod items class over here was the Alexandrite and raw Alexandrite were literally just two normal items that had no particular interesting properties, and are also just normal items over here with no additional properties or behavior associated with it. But that is going to change now, because now we will add a new item which is going to have its own custom class, and that's going to be very interesting indeed. So for this, in the item package, we're going to right-click new package called custom. That is just a package that I like to make so that I have a better overview of where my custom items are. And then inside of that package, we're going to create a new Java class, and we'll call this the chisel item over here in this case. The convention is always to have whatever the name of your item is, and then have item at the end of that in the item, in the class name. Then you will basically always know that, okay, this is an item. Now, this particular item will extend from the item class, making sure we choose net Minecraft world level item over here. Tap to auto-complete it. We can then hover over this and create constructor matching super. And in theory, our custom item class is done now. But of course, we want some cool functionality added to this. If I start typing an override over here, you can see these are all of the different methods that I could override that might add some amount of different behavior or functionality to this particular item. So as you can see, there are a lot of different things that you can do with items, and it is pretty freaking cool. What I also highly recommend, if you're interested in any vanilla item, you click on the item class right here and press Ctrl H. This will bring up the class hierarchy, and if you expand everything, you can actually see every single item class from vanilla and how they work, right? So maybe you're like, how does bone meal work? Double click on here and take a look at the entirety of the bone meal class, and you can see this is how it works, right? I highly recommend you take a look at any item that might be interesting to you. That is hopefully going to get you a little bit of an idea of, okay, this is how that works, right? This is how you can right-click certain things like that. It is highly recommended to do so. In our case, what we want to do with the chisel item is as follows. I want to be able to right-click certain blocks, and I want to change them to a different block. So for example, I want to be able to right-click stone and change it to stone bricks. I want to be able to right-click end stone and change it to end stone bricks. That is literally the whole idea that the chisel item can do. And how are we going to do that? Well, there's multiple different ways that you can go about this. The one thing that you basically always need is you need to override the use on method right here. The use on method, if I just, start typing in use on, I select this and press the tab key to auto-complete it, it is going to immediately override that particular method. This method is called when you have a chisel item inside of your hand and you right-click on a block. And then via this use on context, you get all sorts of different things, right? So for example, we get the level. So if we start typing in level over here, we can get this from net Minecraft world level. Very important that we choose the correct class right here. And that one is going to be equal to pcontext.getLevel. So basically we get the entire level from this. We can also get the block that we've just right-clicked. Now this is a little bit more complicated, but we can still get that, right? So that's going to be a block right here. This is the clicked block, and that is going to be equal to the level.getBlockState at a particular position. That is going to be pcontext.getClickPosition or getClickPause. And then at the end over here, we get the block from that. So now we know, oh, this is the block that we've clicked. And now the question is, well, how can we now determine that we've clicked a block that we wanted to click and then change it to something else? Well, for this, what we'll actually do is we'll make a map over here. And I think that is going to be the most sensible option. There's going to be a private static final map. And this is going to map from a block to another block. This is going to be the chisel map over here equal to map.of. And then we're going to fill this map with a couple of examples over here. This is going to be blocks.stone is going to go to blocks.stone_bricks exactly. Then we're going to say blocks.endstone is going to go to blocks.endstonebricks, and we can in theory continue, right? So we can say blocks.deepslate is going to go to blocks.deepslatebricks over here. And of course, you can add multiple pairs over here, as many as you would like. And that is still always going to work, right? You can even do crazy things like you could say, I don't even freaking know, right? What do we want to do? Netherrack to let's say, do an iron block to a diamond block, right? Of course, we can do that, right? Even though this is a little bit ridiculous, of course, this would be broken. As an example, we can simply implement this. And yes, you can, of course, also do, let's say, blocks.dirt, right? We can now change this to modblocks.alexandrite block. And always, when you are using your custom ones, you always have to do the .get, because this, if I hover over this, this is a registry object of a type of a block over here, while in vanilla, all of the blocks are simple blocks. So keep that in mind. That is why you need to call the .get for your custom blocks. But with this map done, we now have a super easy way in order to, in this right-click method, to say, well, is this clicked block inside of this map, right? If this exists inside of this map as a key, well, then we know, then we can simply continue. So what we can say is that we can get the chisel map over here that contains key, passing in the clicked block in this case. And if this is the case, then we can set the new block at this position. However, that is also quite important. The level over here that we have can actually determine whether or not we are on the server or the client. And this is actually a very important distinction. So I'm going to write an if statement over here, and that's going to be if level is client side, and I'm then going to negate it with the exclamation mark. Now this is extremely important, because if I want to change something, like for example, I'm going to change the block in just a second, I can only do so via the server. Because if the client was able to do that, then literally you could just cheat the game very easily. And that is, of course, not something you want. Therefore, we have to double check that we're on the server by saying level is client side and then negating it with the exclamation mark. And then we can say level.setBlock and update, calling that method over here with the pContext.getClickPosition. And then we're going to get the chisel map.get, passing in the clicked block again, and then making a default block state out of that. And this is going to set down, or basically change the block that we've just right-clicked, and that is pretty cool. The second thing we then wanted to do is we want to damage the item inside of our hand, because of course, if you have a chisel item, you shouldn't just be able to use this, for 100 times or 1,000 times or an unlimited amount of times. That would be a little bit broken. So of course, at some point, it's going to break. And to do that, we're going to say pContext.getItemInHand. This is going to get the item stack that we actually have inside of the hand. We're going to call the hurt and break method over here. We're going to damage it by 1. We will then say level.cast, and we will cast this to the server level, because in this case, it needs the server level. After the first closing parentheses, we will then say pContext.getPlayer, and we're going to cast that player to the server player, because in this case, we actually need the server player, but that is fine. We can actually cast it to a server player because we know here we're on the server, right? Inside of this if statement, we are always on the server because we've checked for it right here. And then the last thing is going to be a consumer of an item. So we simply type in item, do the little arrow right here, and we can then say pContext.getPlayer, and then we can say on equipment item broken, tap to autocomplete it, passing in the item consumer right here, and then the equipment slot of a main hand. Now, this is quite a lot of things over here, but basically this is always going to be more or less the way that you can hurt an item inside of the hand, right? Obviously, this happens when you have any sort of tool, right? And you're mining something, then literally the same thing happens as well. So that is the whole idea. And the one last thing that we want is also just a tiny little sound over here. So we're going to say level.playSound, and we're going to do a null in the first parameter. I'm going to do pContext.getClickPosition. The sound I want to play is on sound events dot, and this is going to be the grindstone _use, and the sound source is going to be from blocks, and there you go. At the return right here, I want to return an interaction result of success. This is going to basically say, hey, we've successfully done something, and it's also going to add an animation to our right-clicking as well. And that is the whole thing that we have right here. It is a pretty cool, I think, example here in this case for a right-clicking functionality. Like I said, this would be the right-clicking functionality specifically on blocks. You also have the use method over here, which would be right-clicking without looking at a block. There's different things like the use duration, right? So this would be used for things like the bow, right? Where you hold your right-click and then it's going to change what happens depending on how far along the right-click you are. So there's a thousand things that you can basically do with custom items. That is why I basically said highly recommended to check out anything in vanilla. That is definitely going to serve you very well. But yeah, with this done, we can then actually register the item, because right now we haven't registered the item. So what we'll do is in the mod items class, we'll make another public static final. this is going to be, once again, a registry object of a type item here, and that is going to be the chisel, equal to items.register. The name here is going to be chisel, and then we're going to make a supplier of a new, extremely important chisel item, right? We now want to make a new chisel item over here, passing in the new item properties. Now for the item properties, here we also want to make a little bit of a thing, and that is we want this to have some durability. Quite important, because in this case, we want this to break at some point. So let's say this has a 32 durability. I think that is fair, and that is going to be okay. This also means that this then only ever stacks to 1, because durability is a data component, and data components on items basically mean that you can only have one of them in a stack. So with that done, we can then add it to the creative mode tab very straightforwardly over here. This is going to be the chisel. And then we, of course, need all of the different assets. That is going to be straightforward, right? But it's just a item model JSON file as well as the translation. So nothing too crazy. The item model JSON file, of course, is just going to be the same as any other item model JSON file. So I'm just going to once again drag it to the same folder while holding control and changing it to what texture it points to. The texture will then be added right here. And of course, the texture is also going to be available to you as well. So no worries there at all. And then lastly, the translation. Well, that is fairly straightforward too. And now we have everything that we're going to need, right? Basically, double check that you actually created the custom item class over here, right? So that it's not just a new item. That would be very important. Otherwise, of course, all of the things that you've written in your custom item class will not work. You can actually double check this as well. If the constructor right here is grayed out, then this is not being used. If it is yellow, then it is being used. And you can actually also double check this. If you control left click on this, then it should bring you to the registration of the custom item. Well, absolutely freaking fantastic. So now let's jump in the game and see if it works. All right, finds us back in Minecraft, and I basically already prepared a wall over here, and I have the chisel in hand. And when I right click, there we freaking go. It all works, and I can change all of them. Even this one, which is obviously, this one is a little bit crazy over here, right? Like I can chisel a freaking iron block to a diamond block. That makes zero sense. But yeah, there you go. It all works with all of those, and those are now the bricks. I think this is really cool. And, you know, if I right-click any other block, basically it's not going to do anything, right? I get the right-clicking functionality, but it's not going to get me a sound. It's not going to change the durability of this. That is pretty freaking cool. And I mean, I don't know. That is, I think, in my opinion, a really cool example of a custom advanced item added to Minecraft. Awesome. As always, of course, all of the code is available down below. And next time in this video, we'll add a custom advanced block to Minecraft. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.